Good afternoon, everyone. I am very pleased to welcome you all to this first session of the second day of the 4-day international conference on ecocriticism, theory and praxis, organized by the Department of English of Ramakrishna Mission Residential College, Autonomous, Narendrapur, as a part of its Diamond Jubilee celebrations. It is a proud privilege for me and also for the department to be able to host celebrated scholars of national and international repute on this digital platform. Yesterday we had two wonderfully illuminating lectures on ecocriticism. The keynote address of the conference was delivered yesterday by Professor Sarnalata Rangarajan of IIT Madras. She very elaborately delved into the nuanced discussions on the discourse of ecocriticism, and her talk was cited from nature with aim in uppercase to nature aim in lowercase, ecocriticism and the Anthropocene imperative. We had a plenary lecture delivered by Professor Pramod K. Nair of University of Hyderabad. Professor Nair's lecture was titled Toxic Nature and Biocultural Precarity. And today we are back with yet another exciting session with Professor Xiang Xiangzhen. Professor Xiangzhen is a professor of aesthetics at Shandong University, China. He is a Xiang scholar, a deputy dean of the School of Literature at Shandong University. He is also a deputy director of Shandong University Research Center for Library for Literary Theory and Aesthetics. He is a deputy director of Shandong University Research Center for Ecological Civilization and Ecoaesthetics, a visiting scholar of Harvard Yanqing Institute at Harvard University. He has also served as an executive editor of newsletter on ecoaesthetics and ecocriticism. He is also a member of International Advisory Board for Contemporary Aesthetics. His fields of research include the history of Chinese aesthetics, environmental aesthetics, ecological aesthetics. His most recent books are a study of environmental aesthetics in China, ecological aesthetics and ecological assessment and planning, and an introduction to ecoaesthetics. 8 of his works on ecological aesthetics are introduced in Alan Carlson's entry of environmental aesthetics for the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Professor Xiangzhen is a very reputed and celebrated scholar on the field of ecoaesthetics, and we at the department are proud, honored, and privileged to be able to host Professor Xiangzhen with us on this digital platform at this international conference. We welcome Professor Xiangzhen to deliver his plenary lecture. His lecture is titled Contemporary Global Eco-Aesthetics.
Okay.
It is a very important topic for discussion. I welcome Sir. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pranav, for your kind invitation, and thanks for everyone for your participation. I am going to share my screen. Yes. Well,
Any problem, sir?
I'm trying to share my screen. It doesn't work. I don't know.
It worked.
Worked or not?
Then. Yeah, it was working then, sir.
It is working now. You mean, sir?
It's not. I can't see that. I can see your screen, sir. Could you please try again? The share screen button.
Yes. I don't know why. I'm going to try again.
Okay.
You are in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. So I'm sorry. Very sorry.
Oh, it's absolutely all right, sir. Please. It's absolutely all right.
Works or not?
Oh, it's working. It's working, sir. It's working. Yeah, it's working, sir.
Okay, wonderful. I mean, you can see my screen now, sir. So I'm going to talk about contemporary global ecological aesthetics. And the first part is an introduction. Ecological aesthetics, which is also called eco-aesthetics or eco-aesthetics, has become well known in Chinese academic circles and the subject of Chinese aesthetic history writings. Eco-aesthetics is also at the research frontier internationally with researchers coming from North America, Germany, the United Kingdom, Finland, and other parts of the world. I have, according to different theoretical orientations or keywords, summarized the 8 positions of eco-aesthetics internationally. They are, respectively, the position of ecology, ecological art theory, phenomenology, ecological beauty, ecological ontology, creating life ontology, practice aesthetics, and aesthetics of ecological type. I adhere to the position of creating life ontology and try to construct a logical framework of an inclusive ecological aesthetics grounded on ecological realism. Briefly put, aesthetics can be defined as this. It is a transformation of aesthetics in face of the global ecological crisis. It is grounded in ecology and ecological philosophy, a reconstruction of aesthetics in light of the particularity of aesthetic activities and its cultural functions, and it aims to a fair role of the aesthetics in the construction of ecological civilization. This paper will first focus on the development of Western and Chinese ecological aesthetics, then briefly discuss the mutual learning process between them and the future of eco-aesthetics. The lecture will be divided into the following four parts. First one, Western ecological aesthetics. Second, Chinese ecological aesthetics. Thirdly, mutual learning between Chinese and Western eco-aesthetics. Finally, the future of eco-aesthetics. One, Western ecological aesthetics. They are, firstly, the position of ecology. Two, the position of ecological art theory. Three, the position of phenomenology. Four, the position of ecological beauty. Firstly, the position of ecology. The strategy of this position is to take ecology as its scientific foundation to explore aesthetic issues. It holds that everything coexists with each other in the ecosystem, and everything is required to be appreciated together with others in its living environment. We will discuss four Western scholars respectively concerning this topic. The first one is Leopold. It did not propose such term as ecological aesthetics. His conservation aesthetic had laid a solid theoretical foundation for ecological aesthetics. It claims that the keynote of ecological aesthetics was protection, and the strategy of ecological aesthetics was grounded on ecology. The second one is Meeker. He puts forward the term of ecological aesthetics. The key points of his ecological aesthetics can be summarized as follows. First, ecology is regarded as a potent model to understand reality, thereby bridging the gap between humanities and science and setting the interdisciplinary principle of ecological aesthetics. Secondly, artworks are compared to ecosystem in light of the concept of ecosystem in ecology. Thus, the precise, systematics, and integrity of artworks are analyzed accordingly. Thirdly, the maximum complexity and diversity of ecosystem are valued and regarded as the criteria of ecological aesthetic appreciation. Fourth, the similarity between the aesthetic view of nature and the ecological view of nature is highlighted. The common foundation of art and ecology is explored, and thereby the long-term conflict between man and nature is coordinated. Fifth, such terms as artistic ecology and ecological art are put forward to get the perfection of ecological art aesthetic. Another scholar is Alan Carson. In elaborating his positive aesthetics, Carson did not discuss ecological aesthetics directly, but he saw positive aesthetics as ecological aesthetics as well. This entails that the former constitutes an essential part of the latter. In Carson's view, the natural environment, which is untouched by man, whether it is beautiful or not, has positive aesthetic properties and aesthetic value. In view of this characteristic of positive aesthetics, Carson clearly assessed perhaps this position is not simply to be justified as a scientific aesthetic, but it is indeed what one scholar has claimed the ecological aesthetics. Another scholar is Rostron, who is well known in contemporary environmental aesthetics. He examined the aesthetics of nature from the perspective of environmental ethics. In his view, both aesthetics and ethics have normative models and they are closely related. Just as beauty is associated with duty, aesthetic imperative and moral imperatives share similarities as well. The strategy of this position is to, their next position is their ecological art theory. The strategy of this position is to discuss the theory of ecological art under the name of ecological aesthetics. The first painter and scholar is Lepanto, who is a Greek painter and who first put forward this position in his book entitled Art for Human or Ecological Art in 1983. He saw ecology as the theory of habitation according to its Greek etymology. In an interview entitled Skills and Art in 1990, Lepanto named his theory of ecological art as ecological aesthetics. Another scholar is Pek Strolu. He is a German scholar in ecological aesthetics, art in environmental design, theory, and practice. This book mainly examines some questions in landscape design and environmental art. Another scholar is a Praxis scholar. The name is Michael Mills. He is a British cultural theorist. In his eco-aesthetics, art, literature, and architecture in a period of climate change, he attempted to expand the role that art, literature, and architecture play the face of the disastrous consequences of climate change. Next position is the position of phenomenology. The first scholar is Baumer, who is a German scholar, who drawing on George is another German scholar. George's new phenomenology. He expanded the classic aesthetics of nature and put forward a new view of nature, the basis of Schwartz's body phenomenology. His theoretical achievement was ecological aesthetics of nature, which was different from Adorno's aesthetics of nature. Next position is ecological beauty. The representative scholar is Gollister, an American scholar. He puts forward the concept of ecological beauty. The purpose of his paper is to discuss the conflict between aesthetic value and ecological value, Will did not offer a clear definition and elaboration on ecological beauty, which is the main concern of Chinese scholars. So I'm going to move to the Chinese ecological aesthetics. Since 1994, Chinese academic circles have been paying attention to ecological aesthetics. They have been doing comparatively independent theoretical research, which can be illuminated with different positions as follows. The position of ecological beauty. That's the first one. And two is the position of ecological existence. Three, the position of creating life ontology. Four, the position of practical aesthetics. And five, the position of aesthetics of ecological type. The first position is ecological beauty. This position is represented by Xu Hengchun, who believes in ecological aesthetics, that the discipline of ecological aesthetics takes the establishment of the category of ecological beauty as the core. He proposed that the 21st century would be the era of ecological civilization. The next position might be the most important one in China, which is the position of ecological existence. The scholar is named Zeng Fanren, who is a former president of my Shandong University and who is my colleague. His ecological existential aesthetics represents the highest academic level of ecological aesthetics in China. This position was first formed in Zeng Fanren's article, Ecological Aesthetics, a new aesthetic conception of ecological existence in the postmodern context in 2002. He proposed that ecological aesthetics comes into being in the context of postmodernism. It is an aesthetic view of ecological existence which plays an important role in the transformation of aesthetic views, in the enrichment of literary criticism perspectives, and the development of ecological literature, and the carrying forward of traditional Chinese ecological wisdom in the new era. Therefore, thereafter, Zeng Fanren has published a lot of books. The first one is the Disquisition of Ecological Existential Aesthetics. And the next one is the Introduction to Ecological Aesthetics. And the third one is Ecological Aesthetics in the Chinese-Western Dialogue. And the next one is Aesthetic Exploration and Dialogue in the Era of Ecological Civilization. And the next one is Research on Basic Issues of Ecological Aesthetics. And he has published a lot of papers and other books, constantly enriching and improving ecological existential aesthetics. The third position is mine, which is called Creating Life Ontology. I propose a theoretical framework of aesthetic in my exploration of ecological aesthetics that is creating life. In Chinese pinyin, we can say 生生 aesthetics, which is proposed in 2002. It takes the traditional Chinese creating life thought as the philosophical ontology, value orientation, and the civilization idea, and the greater beauty of heaven and earth as the highest aesthetic ideal. The intention of constructing the creating life ontology is to find the ontological basis for the construction of ecological aesthetics. I put forward a cultural philosophical model of civilization, cultural evils. Ecological civilization is strongly value-oriented, which believes that human beings must take ecological values as the fundamental principle of creating civilization. The ultimate goal of this position is what I called ecosophy, that is the ecological wisdom theory, which contains 8 English terms with the initial letter C. Its basic connotation is taking the ecological keyword community as the scientific basis. It holds that the very nature of heaven and earth is the mother of man, and man's mission should be to assist everything to develop in its natural way, and dare not violate the laws of nature, and help heaven and earth creating all things. There is an resonation, empathy, relationship between man and all things in the world, which is the basis of proper natural aesthetic appreciation. Ecosophy is a key word connecting ancient and modern China and the West, humanities and science, ecological ethics, and ecological aesthetics. These ideas can be found in my English paper entitled Ecosophy and Ecoaesthetics, a Chinese perspective, which is contained in a German scholar named Herbert Zipf in his book entitled Handbook of Ecocriticism and Cultural Ecology, which was published by Berlin by the Garriter Prize in 2006. Next position is practical aesthetics. Another scholar named Zhang Yuneng, on behalf of new practical aesthetics, tries to develop ecological aesthetics from the framework of practical aesthetics. The practical aesthetic should, of course, take the ecological aesthetics as an important dimension of its own research and study the aesthetic relationship of man to living environment formed by nature. The last position is the position of ecological aesthetics of ecological type. Another scholar named Zhang Fa, who is also a Chinese scholar, he argues that aesthetics of ecological type is the aesthetics that see aesthetic problems with an ecological worldview, and the ecological worldview is the scientific view from biology to ecology, from Bacon, Locke, discourse, isolated laboratory research to the scientific view of holistic research beyond laboratory type. That's his main idea. The last part is mutual learning between Chinese and Western states. I would like to take this opportunity to briefly introduce some latest efforts on the part of Chinese eco-association to research a global audience. In 2009, the Center for Literary Theory and Aesthetics, commonly known as CLTA, where I am working, of Shandong University, hold an international symposium on ecological aesthetics and environmental aesthetics in global perspective. This international conference was organized by me and my colleagues. More than 70 scholars from Japan, South Korea, China, Canada, the United States, Finland, and Portugal attended the event. Among them were leading theories such as Arnold Bellind, Alan Carson, Paul Gobster, Euros Palma, and Zheng Banren. And here is the conference place of that conference. We know both Arnold Bellind and Alan Carson are leading scholars in the field of environmental aesthetics. So there's an internationally hot topic, which is the relationship and the difference between environmental aesthetics and ecological aesthetics. For me, I am concentrating on ecological aesthetics. However, for Arnold Bellind, he has always suggested me to research environmental aesthetics. He don't want me to spend too much time on what I call ecological aesthetics. So, what is the differences between environmental aesthetics and ecological aesthetics? Are they same stories, or are there dramatic differences between them? That's a hot topic. Alan Carson agrees with me. There must be some connections between the two fields. And in 2010, the 18th International Congress of Aesthetics held by Peking University, more than 1,000 scholars around the world attended. In the 18th International Congress, there is an important section concentrating on ecological aesthetics. Arnold Bellind, Euros Palma, and Alan Carson, and other internationally famous scholars attended this event. And in 2012, in International Symposium on Constructive Postmodernism and Ecological Aesthetics, held by my university, and more than 70 researchers from the US, Germany, France, China, and other countries attended. Here I want to show a key phrase, which is constructive postmodernism, which is proposed by American scholar David Griffin. We know postmodernism can be divided into at least two schools. The first one should be a destructive postmodernism, and another is constructive. For me, constructive is more important than destructive. I think whenever we want to construct something new, we must have the constructive attitude, not to take too much uh, destructive attitude. So, constructive postmodernism should be the context of constructing ecological aesthetics. And the latest conference is in 2005, which is the International Symposium on Space for Eco-Aesthetics and Ecocriticism, jointly organized by my university, Shandong University, and with Sun Kong-Yong University in Korea, and the International Association for Aesthetics. Here we have two key phrases. They are eco-aesthetics and eco-criticism separately. I think there's a very close connection between the two fields and the two key words. I usually take eco-aesthetics as the theoretical foundation for eco-criticism. Bernard found me on internet by searching for my article entitled Eco-Aesthetics and Eco-Criticism, published in 2010. I think that short paper represented my basic position for discussing the two different fields, which are eco-aesthetics and eco-criticism. Actually, eco-criticism has been developing very rapidly in and more and more scholars pay special attention to eco-literature and eco. So this international symposium tries to combine, to organize the scholars from the different fields together to form a new future for not only eco-aesthetics, but also for eco-criticism. And there are other international conferences. I don't want to too much because of their very limited time. American scholar Berlin and I have recently been in frequent academic interactions. In 2005, Arnold Bennett, in an article, questioned the theoretical source of eco-aesthetics from his personal perspective, which is environmental aesthetics. I responded to his article in 2006. In 2007, I was invited by ESPES journal in Slovakia to write for their special issue on aesthetics between art and society, perspectives of Arnold Bennett's posts contain aesthetics of engagement. Bennett and I have further academic arguments after that, which means we have a lot of dialogues between each other, concentrating on the relationship between environmental aesthetics and ecological aesthetics, and especially concentrating on the relationship between Kant's aesthetics and ecological aesthetics. As we know, Arnold Bennett himself has launched a lot of criticism against Kant's aesthetics. And I also criticize the Kant's aesthetics from my personal eco-aesthetics. So, how to reflect Kant's aesthetics and to develop eco-aesthetics which is my ongoing project. There are some influence of Chinese eco-aesthetics on Western circles. In 2017, when exploring the relationship between Eastern eco-aesthetics and Western environmental aesthetics, Alan Carson reviewed 5 distinct positions on the issue proposed by me and suggest Western environmental aesthetics to learn from Chinese eco-aesthetics. Carson, in his latest reverse entry of environmental aesthetics, Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, quoted 3 Chinese scholars, who are Zheng Fanren, Zheng Yongcheng, and Cheng Xiangzhan, which is me, and their ideas in its entry and bibliography. Especially in Alan Carson's 2008 essay, Environmental Aesthetics, Ethics, and Eco-Aesthetics. I think this article is very important, published in the US Journal of Aesthetic and Art Criticism. Carson reviewed in full detail the new developments in Chinese eco-aesthetics. So I think this article is very important for us to get an overview of international ecological aesthetics. Chinese eco-aesthetics owns its originality to eco-wisdom embedded in Chinese culture and unremitting efforts made by a group of eco-aesthetic pioneers. In short, Chinese eco-aesthetics features both originality and internationalization. Lastly, I want to talk about briefly the future of eco-aesthetics. Chinese eco-aesthetics has already made some theoretical achievements, particularly in its advocacy of ecological civilization. Further research is needed to provide a sound philosophical base for the so-called ecological civilization, which is our national policy here in China. Eco-aesthetic theories should seek opportunities to engage with the reality and make their contribution to urban and rural planning, landscape design, a lot of more other fields. Okay, thank you so much. I just want to end my lecture here for your questions and comments. Hi, Arnold.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Xiang, for so elaborately presenting before us a framework for the studies in ecological aesthetics or eco-aesthetics, as we call it. Thank you for your elaborate presentation. We now open the session to questions and observations from the participants. I would like our participants to write their questions in the chat box of YouTube. Before we find questions from our participants, sir, may I ask you a question?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I would like you to kind of compare the position of eco-aesthetics in both Asian and European context. I mean, what are the major areas that we find in common, or what are the major differences that we find between the Asian and the European discussions or European studies in eco-aesthetics?
Thank you for your question. You mean the ideas of ecological aesthetics in ancient China and
Yes.
contemporary China? Okay.
Yeah.
As you know, both India and China has a very, very long history. We are close neighbors, and we have shared a lot of friendship and cultural exchange. And Chinese traditional culture has a lot of ecological wisdom embodied in Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism in China, you know. And as
Yes.
Chinese, you know, my first academic interest is the history of Chinese aesthetics. And I have been studying the history of Chinese aesthetics for around 20 years. So that's why in the process of my personal constructing ecological aesthetics, I always try my very best to transform ancient Chinese wisdom into the contemporary construction of ecological aesthetics. The sharp difference is in ancient China, we don't have clear ideas of ecology. You know, ecology as the scientific discipline was proposed by a German biologist named Haeckel in 1866, only 140 years ago. So the sharp difference is with ecological knowledge or not. In ancient China, we do not have clear ecological knowledge, but now we have a very clear scientific ecological knowledge. I think that is a sharp difference between ancient and today. I'm not sure whether, yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So may I also request you to share with our students some of the very insightful books or some of the very popular books on eco-aesthetics, especially if anyone wants to go for further researches on eco-aesthetics. So what are the books or what are the articles or maybe primarily books you would like to suggest, sir?
Yeah, for our students, you know, I have many students, you know,
Yeah.
students for undergraduate, graduate, and PhD candidates who have an increasingly interest in ecological aesthetics.
Yes.
Firstly, my first suggestion is Although eco-aesthetics and eco-criticism belong to the field of humanities, we must learn something from ecology. I think the scientific ecology should be taken as the foundation for not only eco-aesthetics but also eco-criticism. So ecology is very important. For me, I majored in the Chinese language and literature when I was a student. However, in order to research ecological aesthetics and criticism, I read more than 30 books about ecology. So that's my first suggestion. Yeah. Well, the second one suggestion is I think we must have a historical overview of the history of aesthetics to figure out the transformation from modern aesthetics to postmodern aesthetics. Postmodern. What are the reasons for the transformation from modern aesthetics into a postmodern aesthetics? You know, there are a lot of similarities in the postmodern thoughts, such as the destructive postmodernism and constructive postmodernism. And I think there is a close connection between ecological aesthetics and and constructive postmodernism. So my second suggestion can be summarized that we would better pay some attention to their books by the scholars concentrating on constructive postmodernism. That's my second suggestion. That's all.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much,
Uh,
sir.
maybe
Thank
the
you for
last
your
one,
suggestion. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe the last one is there are a lot of ecological artworks globally, such as eco-literature, eco-film, eco-painting, and eco-music. There are eco-artworks. So for me, I have a great interest in eco-literature, and I think artworks may be taken as our ecological practice for us to abstract from our theoretical uh, issues and theoretical construction. Yeah, so briefly, the third suggestion is paying attention to various kinds of eco artworks. Yeah.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you. So we have a question from one of our students. He says
Yeah.
that how, sorry, what will it? Yeah, how climate change. Yes, you can read this, sir.
Yeah. First one, climate change may be viewed as a natural phenomena. Historically speaking, climate has been keep, keep, keeping changing rapidly since ancient time to a modern time. However, whenever we talk about climate change, there is a background, which is uh, industrial revolution happened 200 years ago. With the rise of industrial civilization, climate changed dramatically. So the main reason for climate change now is not a natural one, but an human artificial one, which means human being should take more opportunity for climate change. That's our human responsibility. So, from the perspective of ecological aesthetics, we 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 human beings should reflect our contribution to the climate change, especially to the serious consequences of climate change. So, what are those aesthetic reasons for climate change? That's our I think that's a very good question for us to research eco-aesthetics from the perspective of climate change. In China, sometimes the air is polluted very seriously. I have proposed a paper entitled "The Heat Weather from the Perspective of Ecological Aesthetics," which concentrate on a special phenomena happened today. Whenever there is blue sky, a lot of audience, a lot of public civilians always take a lot of photos of the blue sky, because the blue sky is polluted by their这个 heat weather. So I think climate change should be viewed an important topic for ecological aesthetics. I can share my paper with you later, and I'm going to send this paper in English, talking about climate change from the perspective of aesthetic to my friend Pranav. Okay, later.
Yes, sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the next question I have, yes.
Eco wisdom. Okay. Let me drink a cup of tea. So, eco wisdom. As you know, eco wisdom is also called ecological wisdom, and it is also called eco-sophy. Sophy, eco, ECOSOPHY. There is a Norwegian philosopher named Arnes, who proposed eco-sophy tea in 1970s. Norwegian scholar Arnes proposed eco-sophy tea in 1970s. Based on Arnes' eco-sophy tea, I proposed my eco-sophy C. C, my family name is Chang, and the first letter is C. So eco-sophy C means eco-sophy or ecological wisdom proposed by me. So briefly, eco-wisdom is wisdom based on ecology. If we want to have some wisdom, we as my first suggestion, we should read more scientific books about ecology. Ecology as a scientific field has proposed some ecological principles. I think their scientific ecological principles should be viewed as ecological wisdom, and tell us a human being or to behavior ourselves. And what's more, ecology is the is the scientific branch which have not enough philosophical reflection. Ecology is a scientific branch. So, as the scholars in the field of humanities, we can take a lot of philosophical reflection on their ecological principles proposed or inspired by ecology. Based on ecological principles proposed by ecology, we can develop some wisdom which can be called ecological wisdom. And I just show you my English paper entitled Ecosophy and Eco-Aesthetics, a Chinese perspective, which is published in German, and is an English one. And I am going to share my paper to our friend Pranav later after the conference. Okay. Through that paper, you can have a very brief view of my personal ideas about ecosophy, eco-wisdom. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So another question is, yes.
How can the application of eco-aesthetics benefit the environment globally? Yeah, that's a very, very good question. I think eco-aesthetics is not what we call empty theory. It aims at saving the global crisis happening in our reality. So, eco-aesthetics firstly can help us in reflecting our aesthetic activities. What are the positive consequences of aesthetic activities, and what are the negative consequences of aesthetic activities? For me, aesthetic activities has negative consequences and positive aesthetics consequences. So, eco-aesthetics can be taken as a theoretical weapon, theoretical tool for us to criticize those non-ecological aesthetics, including urban planning, rural planning, and landscape design, which may have a lot of ecological disasters. So I think eco-aesthetics can contribute positively to the global environment. That's my theoretical mention, and that's my theoretical aim.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
my
you,
brief
sir.
answer to your question. Yes.
Yeah.
My question is, will the post-pandemic future pose any special challenges in the Yes, in the study of eco-aesthetics? Yes, that's true. Actually, I have published formally a paper on this issue to discuss the relationship between the pandemic feature disaster and the construction of ecological aesthetics. I think the global spreading pandemic is an opportunity for our human being to reflect our behaviors and our activities from the perspective of global ecological crisis. The pandemic might be viewed as a warning from nature to warn us to pay special attention to the global ecological crisis, to reflect how to build our future. In China, we are constructing ecological civilization. That's our national policy. I think the construction of ecological civilization might be viewed as the best strategy for our human being to save the global ecological crisis. In China, we are proposed a very important phrase, which is the shared future for humanity or for human community. All human beings on planet Earth can belong to the same Earth community. We share the same future, just as the pandemic tells us. We cannot be divided from each other, no matter how far away we are, because the virus is spreading globally. So, in this sense, we are connected together more closely by this disaster, by this pandemic. So, this global ecological crisis is an opportunity for us to work together, just as our tonight conference, what we are doing. I think what we are doing is to launch a closer cooperation to construct a better ecological crisis, take a better eco-criticism in order to find more effective ways to save the global ecological crisis. So I think the post-pandemic future poses a good opportunity for us to work together more closely. Okay, that's my answer to your question. I sincerely hope we scholars can work together to do this, to do more work together. Yeah.
So the next question we have from Shoham. Yeah, it's on your screen, sir.
With the increment of political ideology and powers in the field of ecology, do you think that the study of eco-aesthetics can help in improve the environment? My answer is yes. All of us can realize clearly political force might be viewed the first powerful force in our society, no matter where it is, no matter in the US, in China, in India. As scholars with a clear awareness and a clear consciousness, nobody can neglect the powerful impact of political power. However, as scholars, our main work is, for me, is to construct more reasonable, more meaningful, more attractive, more powerful theory of eco-aesthetics. We can criticize the political activities from our perspectives of aesthetics. We can criticize strongly those negative political powers and those political activities which have negative impact on global ecological health. Our standard to judge right or wrong political activities should be the standard of ecological health of our whole planet Earth. So let me repeat my standard to judge right and right and wrong political activities. For those who are helpful in improving the global ecological healthy condition, they are right. For those who have negative impact on global ecological healthy condition, they are wrong. They should be criticized strongly from my perspective of eco-aesthetics. So in this sense, I believe firmly in our theoretical reflection and our theoretical critique. I think our theory, including the theories of eco-aesthetics and a series of eco-criticism and a series of eco-wisdom, all of these theories can be viewed or can be taken as weapons to save our global ecological system, because our theories can criticize those negative political powers and their negative political activities. I believe in this. That's to some extent that's my work. That's my work now. Yes.
Thank you, sir. The session has become really very engaging. So, all good things have to end. And we'd like to take one final question from our students. Here is the question, sir, on your screen.
The question goes like this: with the concerns about climate change rising with the leaves and buds, do you see ecocriticism as an idea affecting a significant change in our approach to nature and our relationship to her? Yes, I think so. I think so. You know, ecocriticism was proposed formally in 1978 by an American scholar, and since then, more and more scholars have devoted to this field, and scholars, global scholars, including scholars and Chinese scholars, have published a lot of books and articles concerning eco-aesthetics, eco-criticism. And as scholars, we are giving lectures and calls for our students. For me, I always create opportunities to deliver lectures concerning eco-criticism, eco-aesthetics, and eco-literature, by which I want to spread, I want to educate the awareness of ecological literacy. So our scholars have our own job to do. I believe in the power of academic research. I believe in the power of ecological education. For me, I'm concentrating on another project, academic project, which may be called the series of ecological aesthetic education. Aesthetic education was proposed by the Japanese scholar Schiller in 200 years ago. However, today's aesthetic education should be ecological lens. So I'm going to develop an idea about ecological aesthetic education through which to educate more and more civilians to accept ecological awareness, to help them in improving ecological awareness. I think this work is significant and meaningful.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to engage in a cultural exchange with China. Thank you for so energetically and enthusiastically responding to the questions of our students and participants. We are all very grateful to you and hope to have more collaborations with you in future. It was a privilege for us to host you in this conference of the department. Before we formally leave, I would like to request our participants to be with us for the next session that is going to start at 5:30 in the evening. Professor Shrodesha Chatterjee and Professor Bidhuchat Murmu will be speaking in that session. So with this, we would like to conclude here with our deepest thanks and gratitude to Professor Shang Xiangzhen from Shadow University, China. We thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Pranav. I hope to invite you to visit my university in the close future. Okay. So
it will be a pleasure, sir. I have been to China. I have been to Shanghai for almost 1 month.
okay, next time you must visit me at my university. Okay.
It will be an honor, sir. It will be a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So let's
Thank
keep
you.
in touch. Bye bye.
Bye bye,
Bye
sir.
bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.